Pickett has gone to Jeddah.
Sydney, a chance to go a game clear, massive percentage, and they will finish with Hawthorn and Geelong. Wonder whether Buddy will be back next week. Here's Kennedy taken down after the bounce. Minson on top of the pack there. Grabbed by Mumford, and the umpire will do the business again. The umpires this afternoon, Fleur, Mollison and Bannister.
Bird has gone to Murphy too, so they're going to try and stop his run.
Smith did nicely. Griffin, Pickin swings it wide. Johannesson gave it across to Smith. And now Minson. Minson forward of left half forward. On the break is Jan Siracusa demanding the football, but it won't get there. Coming across in front of him is Griffin. He's marked just outside the 50. Wants to go. Sends it down towards full forward. Beautiful kick. I reckon he spotted that man, Brian Lake. 2 men in front of him, 2 behind him. And somehow he managed to drop it in there, did Ryan Griffin. That's the difference a quality player makes. Look at that.
It's a long, direct, low kick, isn't it?
Got
and absolutely quick. No one on him then, too. They're not one Swan defender within 5 metres of Brian Lake.
This is the start they need then. Brian Lake directly in front. Bit of a powwow going on behind there, as you can see. What the heck happened is the question. Lake comes in, jams it onto the boot and puts it through. That was real good stuff by Brian Lake there, but the work was done up the field by Ryan Griffin. Pulled out late last week with a back spasm before the game. That really did hurt them. Had enough problems without that happening. Of course, they get some players back today, but Griffin has pace and he has a beautiful kick. And a fast kick is a valuable commodity in this day and age. The ball got to this man before anyone could close him down.
He kicked 2 last week, Lake, against the Tigers. He had some chances too, probably to kick 4 or 5, I thought, against the Tigers.
The great sign then was Griffin just breaking out of the centre and providing a target at half forward.
Well, Dougie Hawkins called him a Rolls Royce early in the year, and I think most of us thought he was going like that, Griffin. Here's Boyd to centre half forward. Richards, we've talked a fair bit about in the pre-game how well he's going. Higgins, another one of the quality players back. Gian Siracusa. Jack wraps him up, and it'll be a ball up. Just to see those names, Higgins, Wood, Griffin, Cooney and Markovic. I mean, I know Cooney's subbed and he's not at his top, but it makes a difference to the lineup, doesn't it?
It does.
That said, they've got...
Must give the other younger, less experienced players, some real confidence too to see those players out there.
Well, they've got 5 rookies, Tim. 4 blokes that haven't played 10 and 7 that haven't played 20. So, and the Swans, Parker with 25s at least. So there's a big difference in experience. Here's Jeddah. Not so many goals lately, but a great season. 39 goals in total. Used O'Keefe and then goes back. Bird's been very good, hasn't he? On the left foot to half forward. Some good stuff at the back there by Roberts. And then Hanbury. And then Kennedy, well done. McGlynn's within range. There's a goal. He went bang, low and straight.
Look at the hands in from Kennedy. The goal assist. The handball from congestion. He had 40 touches last week. Kennedy, that was his career high. Just watch this handball again. There's the first flick and then bang. I mean, that is just such an instinctive handball, but it put Benny McGlynn into some space again. Just watch it. Hanbury goes in and wins the ball. Kennedy, first thought to get the ball on again. Player forward of the ball, and that's a great finish by McGlynn. That's where they're so dangerous on the spread, the Sydney Swans.
Big job too for Easton Wood playing on Adam Goods. Like Easton Wood, he's a good player, but that'll test him, giving away some strength. That's plenty of pace, athleticism. Rucks go at it on the way down. Minson, he's rucking well this year. Got it down to Smith decisively towards half forward. Worked under the ball. Addison could have almost got a free kick. This is Dixon. We like him too. He lines up and kicks a goal. I think so. Troy Dixon.
Gee, this is a good start, isn't it, to this match?
I'll say.
They've set a high standard, Dennis, in the first 3 minutes or whatever.
There's a tempo developing here, Bruce. Goal for goal, sort of. If Sydney get the next one, too.
Well, they're not a free scoring side, the Western Bulldogs. We know that. They've only been averaging about 8 goals for the last 9 weeks. So this is a really promising start. I'm sure this is what Brendan McCarthy's been trying to teach them and get into their game, is just to have the confidence to take it on and move the ball quickly. Here we go. I mean, Dixon, he is a really lively player. And we talked about him last week, didn't we, Dennis, about if he'd had more opportunities, how many goals this bloke might have been able to kick this season for the Dogs.
What do you got for us, Kirky?
The centre-bounce clearances, the Bulldogs are elite. The Swans won't want to have a shootout in there, so look to him go a bit more defensive, I think.
So 20 goals for Dixon in his first season. Dogs only averaged 2 goals in the first quarter all season, and they've got a couple within 5 minutes. So well done, Lin Jonglin getting the ball out. Griffin, good to see him back, isn't it? What a fine player. Smith, good, wraps him up. And I think that might be a ball up.
Clay Smith started really well. He's got the job of curbing Kieran Jack today. He's a goal-kicking midfield, Kieran Jack, so they'll watch him going forward.
They've got a few of that, haven't they, the Swans? It's been one of their strengths, their midfield goal kickers. Kennedy and Jack and O'Keefe and McVeigh all getting involved there. McVeigh to half-forward Wood, who's missed the last 5 matches, but is he at his top physically? He's a good match for Goods because of his athleticism.
Yeah, he is, and he won that first battle there in a battle of strength.
Johannisen, hard against the boundary, got it from Boyd. Drives towards half-forward. Not a great kick, though. Richards tracks it back. Coming up to middle, Jan Siracusa. He's tackled down hard by Smith. It rolls across towards Lake, who tried to go through. Nothing doing. That ball's still in there. It's a couple of packs. The umpire will ball it up.
And as I mentioned pre-game, Teddy Richards is the #1 intercept player in the competition. He's already drifted back, so he's playing free now inside the Swans' defensive 50.
Don't have the figures in front of me, but Minson is rucking as well as anyone in the competition right now. Third man up that time, or third man stationary, as O'Keefe got a hand to it. Here's Lake running down towards the 50. Opportunity for Kennedy at close quarters to Bird. Bounces it along the wing. Very close to the boundary line. Look out. Oh. Well, that was a gutsy performance by Jean. Just put his head down. Thought for a moment he was going to get cleaned up. Well, he had no hesitation tracking it back into unexplored territory and then putting the head down. He won the free kick. He earned it.
Sure did. So Grundy at the back, and that one off Boyd. So a bit stiff there, Boyd.
Good matchup that too, isn't it? Boyd against O'Keefe. O'Keefe already, this is about his 4th possession in the game so far, so he's had a lively start.
And finds Goodgie, the coach of the Dogs, will like what he just saw with Jong a moment ago, didn't he? So Goods, that's a testing kick for Minson. Going to get over the back. Murphy gets back to sweep. Gets to Roberts out wide. Skinner, good to see him have some continuity as a footballer. Did a couple of good things last week, I thought, Skinner. And then on the left foot out wide, Malcheski committed himself, which was interesting. Sure to go to Dixon. Well played, Dixon. And he gets a bit on that, doesn't he? Cordy and Grundy. Cordy had a little bit of it. And here's Richards, who Tim was talking about. Is playing that loosey, but he doesn't get it far. Well, he gets it too far away, but straight to Dixon, who's having a pretty good first quarter. And he's going to kick a second goal, you'd reckon.
I like what the Bulldogs did that last time they went inside 52, Dennis. The fact that they were prepared to go long. They'd set Cordy up. It's his job to make sure that he occupies that part of the ground, which is deep in the forward line. He'd provide the target.
Passive, you didn't. Passive? Okay, so. Tory, that's your line. Ted, right out.
So he's kicked 20 goals, Dixon. He's 24 years of age. He didn't kick goals in his first couple of games, so he's actually done really. He's almost averaged 2 goals a game from his 3rd game of AFL League footy, and he's kicked a couple in the first quarter, and it's a good start.
Yeah, they're showing a lot of energy, these Dogs. Up and about. It's amazing the good players come back in, and we saw Griffin very early, but really it's been some of the lesser lights so far, because I think obviously they're buoyed by the fact the big names are back in. Players aren't fools. They look at the team in the paper and think we've got a chance or we haven't. And today maybe they see those names there and they think they are a chance, and that's terrific.
See, Adam Cooney, we wouldn't expect to see him out on the ground until the second half of the game. I reckon they'd be thinking about maybe 30% of the game. But the interesting thing for the Dogs so far, 15-9 uncontested possessions, and that is an area that they've really been able to win this season, the Dogs.
Minson again gets it down to Wallace. Boyd confronted, came back to him, got Bird to ball, kicks it straight up in the air. Johannisen combines with Jeong. Jeong knows no fear when it goes putting that head down. He's got a good head of hair, but I don't think that's going to do the job if he gets whacked. There's Griffin. Oh, Markovic left it behind. Applies a strong tackle. It's going to be a free kick there to Jack.
You can't overpossess the footy against Sydney. They'll tackle you every time.
Especially when Jack is lurking. Kicks inside the forward 50. That was an interesting one for Dixon, who benefited from a similar situation at the other end. He was very hesitant to put pressure on before the call of play on, as he had to be. Minson comes up and takes the mark. Now, as I said, don't have the figures, but in the games I've seen, and we've seen a bit of Footscray stroke the Western Bulldogs in the last few weeks, he's been rucking in terrific form, using the ball really well, not just hitting it, but getting it to advantage. He gave it to Roberts. Roberts goes looking for Skinner, and the ball comes off his fingertips and goes out of bounds.
I'm with you, Dennis. As a ruckman, you want to do competitive and love the contest, and Minson does it every time.
Boundary throw in then. He's up against Mike Pike this time. He wins it again. Found a man again. Wallace. Boyd in trouble.
Trying to get it out. Now Griffin again. The other thing I noticed, Tim, is that both Mumford and Pike are playing now. I haven't seen the Swans been away a little bit, but they're both playing early on the game ground at the same time.
Yep, and it's been a really good winning combination for them the last month too.
I'm chatting with Mike Pike at half-time, which would be great. What a season he's having and what a career. So now Chesky 2 full forward. Goods was lurking. Here is Mumford trying to get through the mummy, and he's wrapped up, still wrapped up. You know, mummies do get wrapped up. And now Griffin trying to get it out. Griffin Eastonwood trying to get it out. And then, well, if you're Lou Richards, you'd say Stacks on the mill, then, wouldn't you?
Ah, yes. Or last year with young Stack playing, it would have been Mill on the stack, but it was all good.
There's an energy about the Western Bulldogs today, though.
Yeah. Mike Pike goes after the footy. Dangerous spot. Taking it back is Yong. Gee, we like the look of him. I mean, he is fearless, the young fella.
See what he's got, Dennis. He's got a good pair of legs. He's a kid, I know, but he's got some strength through the hips and legs.
Sounds like we're taking inventory. Good head of hair. We're just ticking them off.
Where are his teeth like?
Kirky's down there for that. He's our master of the
We'll
team.
give him a check him a quarter time.
Get some charcoal. There's Higgins. Don't go down that street again. Short one comes from Boyd, chopped off by Mumford. Slips a hand pass across to Malcheski. Brilliant smother there. The skipper diving across his boot. Boyd. Eastonwood is standing up back there as well. Gave it to Roughhead. Standing his ground in front like a roadblock was Adam Goods. Roughhead bounced off him but did well. Watch this again. That's just simple courage because you're going very close to the boot.
Kicking in danger.
Griffin's already up to 6.
No, he's been terrific. Good squeeze as one. Roughhead. Now he just has to stop and prop. He wants some run. So Yong's kick. Skinner stretched hard. It was a hard one for him. Well played, Matner. And now Jack. He's a good player, Jack. And he saw Reed and he squeezed it out. Great to have Reed back. I mean, he's missed the last couple. You feel if Sydney are going to be big in September, Reed's going to be playing.
Yep. And that kick, look, he's just a young kid, but that's the one that has to hit the target because it leads to the turnover, and on that part of the ground, it is a dangerous part to be turning the ball over, as you can see now. Reed with his chance to kick a goal.
He kicked 20 goals in his last 8 matches before he missed a couple. Now that with a little hook not coming back and a miss.
I reckon, though, McCarthy be happy with what he's seen so far in terms of their desire and their commitment to the task. Even with Jong, I mean, the runner might go out to him and just say, mate, just make sure you lower your eyes and just hit that kick with a bit more composure.
John Syracuse up very high, taken by McVeigh, went to Smith. Cross to Jack, he drives it down towards half forward. Yong again put himself in, did nicely. Markovic got the crumb about 20 metres away. Gave it to Higgins. Higgins over the top to Lake. Dixon is running hard. I think he trusts Dixon, so he might go there. Now he goes beyond him. Higgins has dropped into that hole, reaching over the top. Johnson got a fist on it for Sydney. Comes to Wallace, having a heck of a season. Wallace quietly just gets the football. Comes to Higgins, comes back to Ace Cordy. Charged down by Johnson. Johnson does well at the interchange gates to Parker. Parker gives it to Hanbury, back to Johnson. Johnson to space. A couple of players making a decision down there. Initially, Reed, I think, was going to come back for the ball. Spotted Goods. And Goods didn't mark it, but he's got the free kick.
Gee, they surge on the turnover, don't they? The Sydney Swans. The forwards had pushed up the ground, and then Reed just took off like a rabbit into that space, but the kick didn't get there. You just see him in the background here, maybe. And that's definitely a free kick there. He's there just entering the frame.
Adam Goods then. From right on the 50, demands something of a player deep in the pocket. That's Reid. Bounces in front of him, hooks it towards the square, and Mike Pike takes the mark 5 metres out. And Yong copped one, I think.
Gee, Goodsy's got a...
that was an intentional kick, though.
Yeah, what an imagination, though.
Yep, he was hoping that Reid picked up where the ball was going a bit quicker than what he did, and that's a really good, strong mark from Pike.
Well, John got the drive-by then. He was just standing there minding his own business and got the boot. Here's Pike. And he puts it through. So the margin is 4 points. And Mike Pike, an improving player, but that's a hard way to get a goal. They sort of went to the pocket and then back to the middle, and one sense that Goods would have gone pretty close from where the man on the mark was, just inside the 50. Anyway, they got the goal, and Sydney just needed that because the Bulldogs are playing with a fair degree of confidence at the moment.
Just watch this kick from Adam Goods. He just pulls the kick at the last minute to that space, and it almost gets to Reid, and that's something that Roughhead's going to have in the back of his mind next time they have a kick at that part of the ground, and he's guarding Reid.
Minson got over. Mumford did well, but cut off by Parker. Griffin's been good early. Boyd and Griffin. How many's he had, Dennis? And Murphy on the burst here. Murphy's kick out wide to Skinner, just a bit too tall for him. Dixon's been very, very good in this opening term. Back he goes to Jakura. Got down low, Jakura, but then he kicked it into the man. And then Kennedy quite cleverly actually gets the ball away. Yong look away to Boyd. Boyd to fall forward. Lake, it's always a chance, Lake. Richards at the back, and Addison runs it through for a goal. And they've kicked 4 in the first quarter, something they haven't done since round 1. How many's had, Griffin? Sorry, I got carried away. Sorry, I can't see without my glasses.
Eight, Bruce.
Thank you, Dean. Gee, I hope they've got the same energy halfway through the last quarter, the Dogs, that they have. We've got a good game, haven't we?
They're playing an exciting brand of football too, aren't they? 11 marks to 3 to Sydney, so they've been able to actually get the ball on the outside. And this bloke, since he went forward, I mean, Dennis talked about him last week, he actually shows the aptitude of a forward, Addison.
And Dixon's a handful. I'm not sure who's got Dixon at the moment, but whoever's got him has had a bad first quarter.
The Bulldogs have started really strongly, and it's on a lot of the work of Ryan Griffin. He's a player the Swans generally put a lot of work into, and it's surprising they're giving him so much time and space.
So the bounce back in the middle. Minson kept his powder dry, got the tag, but it's kicking in danger. The free kick goes to O'Keefe, plays on immediately to Jetta, kicks it down towards half forward. Roberts Thompson stifled it. Good sends it forward, and Pike gets on the end of it again.
That's just reading the play, just a quick kick. Generally, it's the forward that is first to react.
Yeah. Even if he's a Canadian. So he's fitting in very nicely now, Mike Pike, and would be one of the most improved players in the competition. And Sydney showing a lot of faith these days. And he comes, and he puts it through. So just 4 points the difference again.
Just the second time Pike's kicked 2 in a match. He actually did against the Dogs last year.
Well, he's causing a few problems down there, isn't he, with his height and his agility. He's quite agile. I remember seeing him run that try-in for Canada.
Yeah.
He's got a bit of toe, and that time
has.
he was just quicker off the mark than Roughhead. Roughhead was probably 3 paces behind when they started and finished about 5 behind.
Didn't really strike it, to be honest, but he kicked it straight enough. What a great job he's done. I mean, we've always felt CB Mumford wasn't going to work. It was one or the other, but this guy's forced John Longmire basically to play the 2 tools, hasn't he?
Absolutely.
And they're both doing so well. So out of the centre again, and that was Lin Yong, who's had a really good opening here. Dixon's been very important early. Smith, well, he fell backwards over Dixon. Grundy, a little wobbly one, doesn't get far. Picken. And a boundary throw in.
Young's up to 6 disposals in this first quarter, but it doesn't really tell the complete picture of his game either, because he's been really desperate on a number of occasions when he hasn't gained possession of the ball. Just pressure acts.
Combative, hasn't he? He's been really good. So Mumford Kennedy back, a bit sloppy the handball. Jack got it from Smith, and then Jack on the left. Roberts Thompson front spot, well played at the back by Markovic. And here he is, Tim, had another one. So make it 7.
This is exciting stuff, really.
Yeah, it is.
Spoke to Brendan last week, Brendan McCartney, the coach, and he said some players have disappointed him playing the youngsters, others have surprised him. I reckon that Yong fits into that latter category. They got to him late. Had a lot of injuries by the time he made his debut. That was last week. But gee, I think they found a player there. Touch ball, back goes Richards in the back pocket. Teddy running out of space. Oh, well done. She's got some poise now, some self-belief. Gave it to Smith. Kicks it back outside the 50. Good mark taken by Boyd against the taller opponent. Gives it to Easton Wood, sends it back inside the 50. Richards once more launched himself, couldn't take the mark. Johnson's got it, tackled by Dixon. Dixon takes him down. The hand pass intercepted by Higgins. Can he keep it in? Goes to Gian Siracusa, stumbles, and the stumble helped him. He got the bounce as a result, jumped over the head of McVeigh and went through for a goal.
He's the leading goal kicker, Joan Siracusa. That was well done. I mean, Higgins did a good job there because he could have blazed once he got the ball, but he actually forced the issue and got the ball to Joan Siracusa with a bit of luck in the end, but he's a clever player, Joan Siracusa. Got the right bounce. McVeigh tried everything he could do.
Yeah, he could win the goal kicking with under 30, couldn't he?
Yeah, he's 26, isn't he? Something, yeah.
Long time since that's happened. I think it happened in Mick's watch. Maybe Mick's final year. Young Campbell.
Well,
he's at 26, somewhere there. I'm telling you, Bruce. I don't trust me to tell you anything. I'm just babbling on.
No, I'm listening to everything you're saying. I'm writing it down in my ledger.
No.
Quote me in a minute. Here's O'Keefe's quick kick out. So this has been a fantastic first quarter. Markovic belts it away. And the Dogs going forward. And every time they've got it forward, they have looked like they would score. Higgins was involved in the last one. That's high. Jakura's going to get a free kick. And the Western Bulldogs have been a revelation so far. It's early days. And this must be their biggest first quarter for the season. In fact, it is. They kicked 4 goals, 3 in the round 1. The only other time they kicked 4 goals in the opening term this year.
And they've been so static in the way they've played in recent times too. And it's already evident that every time they get the opportunity, they're trying to play on. As you see John Longmire just explaining something to his line coaches that he doesn't like.
No.
So already with their best first quarter for the season, and that just spoils it a bit, doesn't it? Got to get those. I mean, Jakura's been an in and out. He hasn't had an opportunity really to secure himself. He knows. You just got to kick him.
Griffin's up to 10 now, and I think, as Kirky said earlier in the quarter, they'll be looking to make some changes and really tightening up on him at quarter time.
Sure, goes long. That's a beautiful kick onto the chest of Johnson, hard against the boundary line. No margin for error there. While I'm on a roll, Bruce, I think their average score during their 8 losses is 7 goals a game, so they could actually better that in the first term. They've still got 6 minutes to go. Here's Shaw. Oops. Just not tuned in at the moment, Sydney. Shaw goes back to Grundy. Grundy comes out wide. Richards, forward of left half back. Decides to run it up. Looks down towards half forward. High ball. Wallace checks Jack off the ball. Should have been a free kick. Opportunity for Markovic. Dragged down. Ball runs free. Now Jack having a bit to say, I think, to the umpire as he turned around there.
Just watching Brian Blake come off the ground. He's blowing like a bush horse.
Bush horse. There's the throw in right on the 50. One down by Pike. In front, the hand pass came from Griffin to Boyd. Cooperating well to Higgins. 3 players back in this afternoon. Well, 2. Boyd was there last week, but suddenly, with the help, he's getting a lot of touches, as he normally does, but to better effect than last week. Now Skinner gets a free kick. Johnson can't believe it. Skinner's got the ball 60 metres out. Plays on to Higgins. Vacant goal square. Goes for space. Cordy is edged under the football. He's going to get a free kick.
There's 2 actions. You bumped him, you went up like that.
Ah, yes, the umpire is right. 2 actions, Tim.
Yep. You can't take a bloke out of a contest like that. That's a good decision. And just a mismatch of height there, which really caused it for...
Time back on.
So, with 5 minutes to go in the term, Ace Cordy is looking at the Bulldogs' 6th goal. Brendan McCartney said, amazing what happened last night. It shows anyone can beat anyone. Dare we think it? The top 3 all losing the one weekend. He puts it through.
So back in the team, Cordy. We've got a lot of inclusions today. We've got Higgins and Wood and Griffin and Cooney and Markovic and Cordy. So 6 in, but for the Swans, well, this is the first time this season they've actually conceded such a score in the first quarter, but they're a hard team to score against. And yet the Dogs have been able to kick 6 first-quarter goals, and they missed a sitter, to be truthful. It should be 7. Every time they get the ball on the side of the field, 50 think they're going to score.
They've looked dangerous. Is that free kick again? And look, it's a really difficult one as a defender because he's got to get the jump. I mean, what he needed to do was jump early and then just try and spoil Cordy. But when you've got a mismatch of size like that, it's a difficult equation.
So the biggest first-quarter score for the Dogs and the biggest conceded by the Swans. And Griffin, who's had a magnificent opening term, has just missed. How many has he got, Tim? 13
now, and he's been the most dangerous player by a mile on the ground. So they're going to have to shut him down. Kirky, who do you think they'll go to?
They might put Bird, I think, take Bird off Murphy and bring him across to Griffin. He's just doing too much damage at the moment.
They could borrow Pickett and put him on him.
What about Hanbury?
Yeah, he's definitely a possibility. He sometimes plays a run with roll through the midfield.
Hanbury's on the wing then. That is one of the worst things in footy, to go onto a hot player, though, isn't it? There's the mark taken by Markovic.
They're very tough, Dennis. If they're up, they've got their tails up and they've had a fair bit of the ball, it's hard to curb them.
Across the ground, Skinner lays it off. Jakira does nicely through midfield, kicks it down towards half-forward. The kick not so good, though. Overcooked it. Dixon was leading. He was under the ball, and the mark is taken by Matner, who Bruce mentioned earlier. Needs to find some form. He's an important player. Gives them plenty of run when he's going. Here's Kennedy. Does exactly that. Runs it down towards half-forward. Takes something off the kick. Well played, Murphy. Got a fist in there. Kennedy kept coming, though. Not to be outdone. Goes down towards full forward. Markovic dropping back. Takes the mark in the goal square. Good game of footy.
It is, and good safe hands twice now by Markovic. And this fella we've talked a lot about. It's not Dowhouse, Young, but he's playing with energy like Dowhouse, isn't he? Out wide. He's had a great first quarter, has Lin Yong here today. Just his second game. Rough head with a high long ball. Now Goods and Wood. Good contest. Wood front spot. Well played there by Addison to Wood to Picken. And then Picken over. Goods flattened Picken there. Must have owed him one from about the last 3 times they play. I reckon everyone knows Picken one. Quick kick by Smith.
There's
to Jetta.
Just slipped out the back.
Well, that's what you've got to do if they're running a tag on a bloke like Jetta. Is somebody
give him one.
Give him one as often as you can. They're a team responsibility.
So Jetta to full forward. Reed just pushed out by Markovic. And now Griffin. So what a quarter. Wallace, Murphy. Back to Roughhead. Got away with it, Roughhead. Now Minson, and Minson's kick. He asked a bit, but they were up for it. Gee, this is exciting. Here's Smith.
Smith, a dasher from half-back to half-forward. Now, they can't possibly win this contest. Addison's a goer, but he's surrounded by 3 Sydney players. Johnson, O'Keefe, who played his 250th on this ground just a few weeks ago, across the ground, missed by Grundy. Just making unforced errors. Now Goods. He'll let it bounce, hoping for a favourable one, but Easton Wood backed himself against the football. Goods comes over the top. Hand passed off the deck there by Boyd. Going to the ground, taking a sprawl was Bird. Picked up nicely by Boyd. Gave it to Griffin. Across it comes to Picken. Picken, like his dad, bursts away from half-back, goes down towards half-forward. Johnson claims a mark. Play on's the call. Puts the head down and runs away from half-back. Tall one, McGlynn goes after it. Not that he's tall, the kick was. Skinner goes after him, and McGlynn is taken high.
The Swans just need to take the heat out of the game here. There's no doubt the coach up in the box, if you want him just to kick the ball, hold possession, because at the moment it's a shootout. It's played at a cracking pace. I know John Longmire wouldn't be happy with that. So
McGlynn to half-forward. Well, just the fact that you've got 38 points against you before quarter time doesn't please anybody, does it? No. I mean, Griffin with 14 first-quarter disposals.
And Boyd's had 11 as well, so they've had 25 between them, those 2 key midfielders.
So Pike at the back. He's had a good first-quarter, Pike. So here he goes again, Griffin. So 15. Not sure what the world record is, Dennis. You're good at that. That's a great great tackle by Wallace. What's the world record for the first quarter? You normally know that sort of stuff.
I think it's 22, Bruce. before they kept records.
So John Siracusa to Lake, who started it all in the first minute.
Lake kicks inside the forward 50, punched away by a really beleaguered defence. That really hurt Higgins too. Crashing into the pack there, Jack cleaned him up. Taken by Griffin, another possession. Might have to up my world record. Close to the line. John Siracusa missed the target. Addison trying to clear a path, coming through. Hanbury did well. And eventually, weight of numbers tells the story. Grundy, O'Keefe, back to Grundy. Now he kicks for grass, way out in front of any lead from Kennedy, and the ball just trickles out of bounds, and he's been knocked off. Umpire Bannister joining in. This quarter's got everything. Yong gets another possession, goes short, taken by Boyd, who played on. And just for a moment, the Western Bulldogs' Rocky Balboa overstepped the mark. It was dragged down, but the idea was right. He wanted to go. The nostrils were flared.
It was a great tackle, wasn't it, by McGlynn? So the kick to a contest. Roberts, who came in, of course, for Griffin. So what a remarkable opening turn. We didn't expect that. The fans here, and there's not a big crowd, we didn't expect that. That man was terrific, Young. Good couple of touches, but really it was the Dogs, and it was Griffin in particular. He had the most remarkable opening turn, 16. If you times that by 4, 64 possessions today. That is a world record. Quarter time, it's 6 goals, 2 to 3 2.